But
Welcome
yeah,
to the Rotojoes Week 7 Love-Hate Show. First, before we talk about betting, fantasy, anything, Christian McCaffrey traded to the 49ers. Carolina receives a 2023 second and third rounder and a 2024 fourth and fifth round pick. Who won this trade?
winners, I'm going to have to go with the Panthers on that one. I mean, here's the deal. They are not competing. They're really wasting Christian McCaffrey at what he's at to go 1-4, 1-5, or whatever at the moment that we're at. I don't really, fantasy wise, that guy's going to be productive wherever he goes. He's just got that skill set. But real life football, I don't know. I think that the 49ers have such a running back friendly scheme. I mean, Elijah Mitchell was a 6th-round pick. They have such a running back friendly scheme that they could have gone out and got a cheaper asset that would perform just as well. So real life football, I'm going to go with the Panthers winning this trade.
I agree. I think McCaffrey will do well on the 49ers. I'm curious about his usage, but to give up that much draft capital for a running back that's barely been able to play in the last 3 years, and maybe it's nothing. It's not always the same injury with him. It's not like Dalvin Cook in the shoulder. So maybe it's just freak injuries. We don't know. But it seems like he can't handle super high usage. So I agree. Go ahead.
Oh, well, and my thing on it is you're right. It's completely different injuries. I remember watching a game and it was the hamstring. I remember watching him run and physically on camera, I watched his hamstring pop and he was done for the year after that. And it was the most noticeable shit you could see on TV. It was that fucking left hamstring and it just like you could see they wear those tight fucking pants and it was just like pop. And I was like, he's fucking done. You know what I mean? I'm like, it's fucking game over for him. But yeah, man, I mean, I think it really boils down. I think it's deeper than that. I think Shanahan's going all in because he wants to stick it to Lynch and say, hey, I won a Super Bowl without Trey Lance. I think there's something deeper there. I don't think he ever wanted Trey Lance. I think he was just fine with Jimmy Garoppolo, but, ownership, general manager kind of wanted to make a change. And I think he wants to win the bowl this year and say, hey, I did it without him. Let's fucking Jordan Love his ass. You know what I mean?
Do you think if they win a Super Bowl, Garoppolo starts for them next year?
That's a good one. I mean, Jimmy Garoppolo, here's what we know about Jimmy Garoppolo. He's a proven winner. He wins games. He's not flashy. He's not going to fill up the stat sheet by any means. But, I mean, they could do a lot worse. And that's kind of what I think is in this day and age, you could do a hell of a lot worse than Jimmy Garoppolo. And if they don't keep him, I look for him to go to Tampa Bay.
Yeah. Yeah, do you think Brady's done after this year?
Well, I don't know, man. Wife left him. He's still playing. Why wouldn't he fucking just sling it till his arm falls off, you know?
He could pull a Brett Favre, but actually come back to New England.
Oh, I don't know. You're going to do that. Boy, I bet you wish he would.
I do. All right. Moving on, before we get into betting, we're going to buy or sell NFL team stock. First team, we have the 1-4 Las Vegas Raiders. Would you buy or sell the Raiders stock?
Oh, I'm absolutely buying the Raiders stock. Here's my thing. They haven't just gotten their asses beat in any of these games. All their losses have been close. I know you got the actual data on that. They are banged up with injuries, especially in their receiving core. Waller's out. Renfro's out. So it's really just Devontae and the boys. You know what I mean? I look for them to make a big turnaround. I kind of see. I keep wanting to call them the Oakland Raiders, the Las Vegas Raiders, uh, in a situation where they are going to probably make a wild card spot. That's where I see them, and it's going to be a long road to that point, but I think they can do it.
I would also buy the Raiders stock. Carr's played well, 2 touchdowns in 4 out of his 5 games. All of their losses have been under 7 points, so they're winning or they're losing close games. They have one win. I think it gets better. I definitely think it gets better, and I think next year is really going to be the year where this team comes together all the way. They'll probably sign a new receiver. I bet Josh Jacobs re-ups on like a 1-year deal for a decent amount. I think this team is going to be good at one point. Maybe I don't know if they make the playoffs, but they'll at least be 500.
At least, yeah. And that's the thing about Derek Carr is Derek Carr's been in the league for 8 years now, and he has been slept on since the day he got in there. Now, here's the deal: he's not. I kind of think of him as a poor man's Matt Stafford when Matt Stafford was good. Not this year, but like a poor man's Matt Stafford last year. He is he's a top 15 quarterback every single week, and you got to realize where the Raiders came from. I mean, look at what the fuck they were doing before him. It was just a shit show of like Cleveland Brown esque type quarterback shit show. Um, and Carr's been in there 8 years now, being productive. I mean, I remember a year where he was, through 12 weeks, probably going to be the MVP. And I think he got injured that year. But he's had some great years. He's constantly slept on, and I think they get it together next year. I think you're right. Um, but yeah, that division's tough, man. That division's tough, and I think they're a wild card this
So I didn't put him in here. Buying or selling the Broncos?
year. Oh, I'm selling the shit out of the Broncos. I want nothing to do with it.
I would be dangerous. I would not buy a lot, but I'd put a little bit in. I think that I think that Russell Wilson is eventually going to get back to doing Russell Wilson things. And right now, there's not a lot of team chemistry. There's issues
No,
going on. Like Marshawn said, Russ is a weird personality to deal with in the locker room. He portrays himself one way, but then acts differently. So I would I would spend a little just because of the talent there, but I don't love it at all. Russell's bad. Okay,
it is a
Philly.
very weird team. Hell of a lot of talent, and we thought that division was going to be the best division in football, but so far they're just not. I mean, I think Nathaniel Hackett's a one and done, and I think next year they're going to get a real. I mean, look at like the New York Giants, and when they got a real fucking football coach, what they could do. That team's fucking garbage, right? But they're out there winning games.
Yeah.
Um, Imagine what a DeBall could do on a Denver Broncos team. I'm completely out on it. I mean, I have a couple of receiver shares for the Broncos, but that's about it. And I don't even love having those anymore. Going into the season, I thought that'd be a great thing, as did everybody else. Um, but I have them in leagues I can't trade. you know,
Yeah, I'm selling Philly stock. They're just I like Jalen Hurts, and they're gonna finish out the season pretty well, but in the playoffs, I just don't think they're gonna be able to cut it. Hurts is not an elite quarterback. He's a good quarterback, but yeah, I'm out on Philly. They have wins against the Lions, Commanders, Jaguars, Cardinals, and Cooper Rush's Dallas team. Only good team they beat was a Vikings team that was playing on in prime time. We know about Kirk in prime time. So, all right, 3-3 Baltimore.
I'm buying Baltimore. I know it's just a matter of time before they pop off. Um, Undoubtedly, in my mind, that is the best team in that division. I said it. Um, I think the Bengals are flawed. I think they went out. They did what they were supposed to do. They went out. They spent a shitload of money on that offensive line, and it's still not very good. I mean, you could throw $100 million at something, and it's still not good. You need to look at the coach. You need to look at the players that you signed. It's better, absolutely better, but it's still not good. And I think that's going to be their downfall. Is they have great receivers, they have great offensive playmakers, they have some strong pieces on defense, but I don't think they win that division. I think it's the Cardinals' division to lose, or the Ravens' division to lose, and I think Lamar Jackson is the best player in that division, and it's not even close.
Yeah, so all three of Baltimore's losses were under 4 points. He lost. Baltimore lost to the Bills by 3, the Dolphins by 4 on that weird last play touchdown where they were up by like 3 or 4 scores and Tua came all the way back in the fourth quarter, and then a 4-point Giant loss. It's not like they're losing blowout games, and Lamar hasn't really played great yet. He's had some good games, but he hasn't been spectacular. Defense isn't great. However, the rest of the season schedule isn't too bad. I am definitely buying the Ravens. All right,
Absolutely.
5-1, New York Football Giants.
I am not buying the Giants. And my reason is they're a good feel-good story. They've got a great coach. They're building a great offensive line, but Daniel Jones is a liability. He's played better than he has in previous years, but he is still not a suitable quarterback for a team that goes into the playoffs, because once you get into the playoffs, as well as I do, it's a different kind of football. They're going to exploit a Daniel Jones. They're going to just pick him apart. If they keep playing well through the regular season, there's no reason they shouldn't get into the playoffs as a wild card, but someone is going to fucking eat their lunch in the playoffs. And I don't buy much into it. Saquon Barkley, we all know he's great. I'm glad to see him have a productive first few weeks of the season, but we all know he's just one bad play away from a season-ending injury. Outside of that, they're extremely weak at receiver. Holy fuck, Wan'Dale Robinson, Kenny Galladay, and Shepard's out. I don't even know who the fuck plays receiver for this team anymore. They have a lot of issues, and those will end up sneaking up on them at some point. I'm glad to see them win some games. It's been a fucking depressing franchise since pretty much since Eli Manning left. But at the end of the day, I just don't see them being competitive in the league.
I agree. I'm selling them. They're well coached. Saquon is just always one injury away. He's like McCaffrey. Is he injury prone? Or was it just weird stuff? We don't know. So I'm going to go ahead, sell them. I think that they might not even finish above 500. I wouldn't be surprised if they only win
That'd
like
be a
13
bad
games.
that'd be a bad finish to the season because they're what, 5-1,
Yep.
5-2 or something.
They're four wins away with 11 weeks left.
So you think they're going to go way sub 500 going forward?
Mm-hmm. They only beat Carolina by 3, and their good wins like Rodgers could have put them in the coffin, but he got 2 passes batted down at the end of the game. Lamar only 3 points away from winning. It's not like they were blowing the good teams out. I think those are just lucky games, and they're well coached and they're better than they were before, but I just don't think that Daniel Jones is going to be sustaining any type of good play.
I don't even look at the Giants and think, oh man, they're going to be fucking really good in a couple of years. Like, that's not even the vibe I get from them. I think they've still got some serious question marks on their roster, and they've got some building to do. I mean, you know what I mean? You look at, for instance, the Jets. Even the Jets. You look at the Jets, and you're like, that team might be fucking good in a couple of years. The Giants, I don't look at the same way. I don't look at them and I'm like, damn, that's going to be a team. I'm like, next year they're going to have to get a fucking quarterback. They're going to have to get a real goddamn quarterback. They're going to have to make some serious upgrades in defense. They're going to have to find a couple of fucking receivers because right now they don't have any, you know. So many issues on that team.
Do you think Midget Man is a buy-in fantasy or a must-add?
If he's on your waiver wire, absolutely go and get him because, like we were talking about before the podcast, the goddamn ball got to go somewhere. It ain't going to Kenny Galladay. It ain't going. I mean, right now, Saquon Barkley is the only person on that team who catches a fucking pass. And you got to realize process of elimination. Saquon Barkley can't run the ball goddamn all the time and catch the ball all the time because we all know he's going to end up on the IR if that shit happens any longer. So someone's got to get it. Kadarius Toney, he's got 6 pulled hamstrings or something like that. Kenny Galladay's got too much of a fucking ego to be able to operate on that team. Sherling Shepard's on the IR. Yeah, I would absolutely add Wan'Dale Robinson. He's a buy in dynasty. He's a pickup in redraft. Go out and because you could do a lot worse, right? That's kind of the way I see it. Is you could do a lot worse.
Oh yeah,
Go get him.
yeah. I like Wan'Dale a lot. I'm a notorious Wan'Dale lover, so I'm in agreement. I'm actually starting him this week. I'm so fucked in the keeper league right now. All my good players are on bias.
I am 2-4 in that league, and I don't understand. But I made a move, and I got some people coming back from injuries, so I'm hoping that'll turn my shit around.
Yeah, I'm trying to get a quarterback, but that's not working. All right, last team, New York Jets, 4-2.
I'm buying in on it. I don't. Like I said, we all thought going into the year the AFC West was going to be the most competitive division. I'm here to tell you it's the AFC East. That is a good division of football. It's they got a lot of talent on that Jets roster. I think the person that's going to limit them the most is Zach Wilson because I don't think he's that good. I really don't. I think Joe Flacco played with that team better. I think he was a better fit. Zach Wilson is just overhyped. I'm sorry they took him with the second pick overall, but he just ain't it. He's the worst quarterback in that division, and that's almost including the backups.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I have no faith in Zach Wilson at this point. Now they have a great run game. I think Michael Carter, Brees Hall, they're doing great things for him. They ran in fucking 17 touchdowns the other week. That was cool to watch. They've got actually a really good receiving core. That Elijah Moore thing is weird.
Yeah.
I don't know really what to think about that. I think that speaks a lot to his character, and I don't think anyone's going to buy in on it. I think he might have just ruined his career with that dumb shit. But even without Elijah Moore, they got Corey Davis, they got Garrett Wilson. I mean, they're loaded, and I think they might make a run. I don't think they make the playoffs, but I think clearly 4 wins is better than they've done in probably about 10 years. Ever since that year Sanchez took them to the playoffs, but
I remember that.
Huh?
So I remember that.
I mean they were in the AFC Championship game that year. They lost it,
yes.
but what was that, 2008 or 9? I mean, we're talking a good amount of time ago. So it's good for the Jets to get back to playing football. And I really do. I think this team's going to be good, really good down the road. As of right now, I think they missed the playoffs, but I'm buying it, man. I'm happy for them.
Yeah, I 12-year-old me would hate that I'm saying this right now. But I buy them also. I think they're improved. I do think Wilson limits them, but like I'll bet they'll beat us once. And we'll beat them once.
Yeah.
I,
I mean, that
they're
division,
better.
man.
That defense is good.
Here's the thing at the end of the day, that the Bills are winning that division.
Uh-huh.
And it's not even particularly close. But if a team gets in on the wild card, it's going to be the Dolphins.
Yep.
And, you know, the lowest seeding team in that division will probably win 7 games. You know?
Yeah.
That's just how that works.
And it's gonna be us. We're gonna be the team that wins the lowest.
You guys be 7-10 and the lowest in that division. And then you're going to look over at fucking Tennessee getting into the playoffs with 8 wins and be like, why? Why is this happening?
Honestly, I'd rather miss the playoffs than go to the playoffs with this team because that game would just be sad.
Just a fucking massacre. Man, the Patriots are well coached on defense, but no one has a fucking clue what's happening on offense, and that's the problem.
No. Well, when Bailey Zappi plays, apparently they do. And that's the issue.
He was dealing,
Not
dude.
doing well.
He was fucking dealing last week, wasn't he? And that sparks a really weird quarterback controversy, doesn't it?
Maybe it's the no tape thing. But I guarantee if Mac plays bad 3 weeks in a row, we start hearing about some Bailey Zappi coming back.
So where did Bailey Zappi go to college? I know we probably talked about this.
Houston Baptist for 3 years, and then he transferred to Western Kentucky.
And Bill Belichick was just like, that's a good football player, right?
He got drafted before Matt Corral. Matt Corral. And Sam Howell.
He did. And here's the thing is when Bill Belichick does shit like that, you think it's weird at the time, but you're like, wait, let's just wait. Let's pay the respect because he does dumb shit like this all the time and it works out. So
yeah,
weird, but yeah, I mean, it sparks a quarterback controversy, and it really just adds to the fact that maybe Alabama quarterbacks aren't it.
Yeah, they all seem very much like college quarterbacks. Not to say that there's not some good ones, but most of them play like college quarterbacks. All right, betting locks. Caden, you got Raiders -6.5 going up against Houston.
I love me some Houston, right? I mean, everybody knows. Here's the deal. We're not a very good football team. We got some bright spots, like I said before. I think we get absolutely fucked by the Raiders, and it's really unfortunate because I wish this game would have happened next week when we are in Vegas and we could have caught that game, dude. I would have been so in for that. And I remember looking at the schedule. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm gonna be in Vegas this weekend, and motherfucker, they play them the weekend before, right? But yeah, Vegas. I think this is Vegas's get right game. I think they beat the living shit out of us because we're limited on offense. I'm not a defensive-minded person, right? Like if I played in the NFL or if I was a coach, I would definitely be an offensive coach because that makes a little more sense to me. But I can tell you right now, the Houston Texans are one-dimensional. It's going to be a lot of Dameon Pierce because we cannot beat them in the pass game. We just can't. Where these last few games, Davis Mills has played fucking terrible. We're limited at receiving options. Nico Collins is our number 1 receiver on the year, which is really weird because Brandon Cooks is still alive. He's not hurt. He's just not doing it, right? We don't really have tight end play. So anybody with eyes can see we're going to try to run the fuck out of this ball. And yeah, I just don't think we win it. I think we lose by, I think a touchdown is a moderate. margin. I think it's probably more like 2.
Yeah, I like this one as well. Like we talked about earlier, all 4 Las Vegas losses have been by less than 1 touchdown. So they've been in every
Lose
game.
this week.
Coming off a bye week, I like the Raiders a lot. All right, my first lock. Broncos at Jets under 36.5 points. Denver
That's
was last.
low, man. That's low.
Denver's defense is sneaky good against, like, just in terms of scoring. Uh, Denver's last in scoring offense with Danger Russ at the helm. What the fuck is Ripon gonna do? In his first and only start, he threw 3 picks. Now he threw 2 touchdowns, but I'm not trusting that. Jets
Yeah.
defense has been really good. I don't like Zach Wilson. I think it'll be like a 20 to
Really low game.
6 game. Yeah. So love
Yeah.
that lock.
You texted me earlier in the week, or maybe it was even today. I don't even remember. But you're like, "What happens if Ripon goes out there and fucking lights up the Jets?" I'm like, I think about it. I'm like, what does happen? It's just one of those things where it's going to happen, and the Broncos are going to brush it off and just throw hobbled ass $245 million Russell Wilson out there because they fucked up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I don't really think it's Russ. I think it is the coach. I think it's the offensive coordinator. But yeah, it's still not working, right? They paid $245 million to lose their ass every week. And the few games they won, it was like barely.
Yeah. Yeah, it sucks. I was high on the Broncos, but
I
that
loved it.
backfired. Yeah, that backfired. All right. Your next lock. Chiefs 49ers under 49 points.
Yeah, so here's kind of what I'm thinking about that is it's a pretty high line for that game. Ultimately, everybody's like, "Oh, McCaffrey." Here's the deal: he had 2 goddamn days to learn the playbook. He ain't gonna learn. He's not. No one in fucking creation could learn a Shanahan playbook in 2 days. So I think he's going to be a limited participant. I think they might throw him out there a few times. I am absolutely like, if you have a better option in fantasy this week, I would sit Christian McCaffrey just because you are really hoping for, like, he's touchdown dependent this week. That's the way I see it. He doesn't know the playbook. He doesn't know the team. A lot of bad factors there. And here's the deal. The Chiefs defense and the 49ers defense has been fucking decent this year. I think the 49ers have a top 5 defense. I think the Chiefs, they have a respectable defense. They kind of go back and forth. They get blown out some years. Some years they're kind of okay. That's kind of where I'm going with that. And 49's a huge line. Like, if you pay attention to this, that's a fucking huge line. I think Chiefs and Bills was only 54.
Yep.
And so, yeah, I mean, I'm definitely going the under on that. I think it's going to be a well-played game defensively. I think it's going to be a chess, not checkers type of game. And I think ultimately the Chiefs come away with it. But, yeah, I'm going under on that.
I love that under. You sent me that, and I was like, yeah, that's nice. The San Francisco defense didn't play amazing last week, but it was against Atlanta, a running team. The Chiefs are not a running team. That defense is the second lowest passing yards and passing touchdowns defense in the NFL. Kyle's going to try to grind it out. He's not going to want Patrick Mahomes to have the ball very long. I really like that. So, my last lock. I have Tampa Bay rookie Rachaad White going over 16.5 receiving yards. He's getting legit pass game work now. 4+ targets in the last 3 weeks with 3 catches in each of those 3 weeks. Carolina is not great defensively. And Tom's looking for a get-right game. Is this it? I think so.
Oh, yeah.
Tom's looking to put smackdown on somebody. And we might see a Rachaad White breakout. We might see like 6 catches, 50 yards, and a touchdown.
He's going to break out. I just traded Leonard Fournette Dynasty, so it's the time. I don't care anymore. Yeah, I think it's definitely a get-right game. Honestly, I think the spread is 14, isn't it? 14 or 16.
13.5.
Insane. I mean, really, from what I've seen in spreads for the NFL, that's a fucking lot. Like even the biggest beatdowns are 7-10 maybe. That's fucking a 14-point underdog. PJ Walker isn't good. We'll get into that a little bit more into my parlay for the week, but yeah, they're a struggling team. They're a team that, in my opinion, may have like 5 people you could probably salvage on the whole roster at this point. McCaffrey's gone, Robbie's gone. Baker's garbage, but we realized, fuck, PJ Walker ain't much better either. And I think that really speaks to the coaching staff because, I mean, you remember that time Bill Belichick took that fucking 7th round quarterback and won 6 Super Bowls with him? A lot of it goes into coaching. You should be able to make even the biggest piece of shit great. And Matt Rule wasn't it. Who the hell's filling in for him?
Oh, that's a good question.
It's somebody that I think he was a head coach. I can't.
He was a head coach in Arizona. It's like Steve Wilkes.
Yeah. Steve Wilkes. He still ain't it, and they have some issues, a lot of issues. I think it's a Rachaad White game. I think Brady's gonna go out there and fucking torch him because his wife left him. All kind of shit going down out in Tampa Bay. So I love it.
All right, parlay time. We'll go with mine first. This is a plus 1100. Leonard Fournette over 25 receiving yards. CD over 60 receiving yards. Aaron Jones over 22.5 receiving yards. Herbert over 280 passing yards. And Tyreek Hill over 50 receiving yards. So Leonard Fournette's going up against Carolina. I think he'll see at least 30 receiving yards this game. He's seen 35, 57, 38, 35 receiving yards the last 4 weeks on 4+ targets each of those weeks. He's going to get pass game work, even if Rachaad White gets pass game work. They're both going to get it from Brady. CD going up against Detroit. He topped 60 yards in 4 out of his last 5 with Cooper Rush. Dak coming back is only going to help that. Gallup is there, so CD's not just getting keyed in on it. That's it. I think we're going to see a CD breakout game. 100+ yards, maybe a touchdown. I like CD a lot. Aaron Jones over 22.5 receiving yards coming out of that Jets game. I think we're going to see a lot of Aaron Jones usage. I think there's no way that this Packers offense is going to ever get going if Jones isn't involved in the passing game more. I think we see that against the Commanders this week. Herbert over 280 passing yards against Seattle. Herbert's had 3 games over 280 passing yards already this season. Keenan Allen's back. Herbert has had that injury with the rib, but he's 3-4 weeks out of that, so it's better. I think we see a breakout against a bad Seattle defense. And then lastly, Tyreek Hill over 50 receiving yards against Pittsburgh. Tua's back. We're going to see a lot of Tyreek Hill. He's been a target hog all year. That's a plus 1100. It's all pretty likely. I know that's a lot, but it was a lot to say. But I like that one. I was passionate about that one.
There's a lot of components that go into it, but I like the simplicity in what needs to happen. Just to pick out some highlights out of that, Leonard Fournette, easy receiving option. I think he has shown in these last few years that he is the trusted target out of the backfield for Tom Brady. CeeDee Lamb, I love that one with Dak Prescott coming back. They're playing a shitty fucking Lions defense. The jury's still out on Jeff Okudah. And I think he fucking torches them because that's what Dak and CD do. Another one I really like in that parlay is the Tyreek Hill one because as soon as Tua comes back, that's his favorite target. Honestly, Tyreek Hill is performing, and that's one of my misses in the offseason is I was a big Tyreek Hill hater. He's out there doing it. The thing is, thing with Tyreek Hill, he is not a pure hand catcher of the football. He relies a lot on speed, so he does have an expiration date. It just ain't right now. That's kind of the way I take that. So at 1,100, man, I've done a lot dumber shit for 500. You know.
Where do you think Tyreek Hill is at right now in fantasy points per game?
I know he's still produced even with Teddy Bridgewater and Skylar Thompson. So I'd say 15.
What?
15.
15. Oh yeah, you're way low. That's why I said what. I was like, what? Wide receiver 3.
I was saying 15 points per game.
22. Well, yeah, you're still way off. 22.3. I was surprised by that too. Yes.
Wow.
That's PPR, so he does benefit from that. But I assume half PPR he's like 5 with 18, 19. All right, your parlay. You have Tampa Bay money line, Leonard Fournette anytime touchdown, Evans anytime touchdown, and 2+ interceptions for PJ Walker. This is the Brady get right game. He's going to earn his alimony this week.
I guess that is a very realistic range of outcomes for Tom Brady. Yeah, man, that's just that was an easy one for me. I just go through these games and I highlight the situations I like. And Leonard Fournette, anytime touchdown, you can go ahead and bank on that one. Mike Evans touchdown, who's going to stop him from doing it, right? Tampa Bay money line, that's just sure as shit. The one that kind of stuck out to me, I'm going PJ Walker, 2+ two interceptions basically. And here's the reason I like it, and here's the reason it terrifies me. I like it because the Tampa Bay secondary is good. They have good corners. They're going to get after it. Todd Bowles is one of the better defensive-minded people in this league. Here's the thing. I'm not sure. I like this parlay. I've made this bet. I'm good. Um, I'm not sure he fucks up long enough to throw 2 touchdowns before they pull him. You know what I mean? I don't think they're gonna let him go out there and just fucking shit the bed like entirely like that. That's kind of where I sit. I think if he throws one and has a subpar first quarter, I think they pull him for whoever the fuck they have out there. Jacob Eason, whoever. I know he's starting the game, but I don't know if he's in there long enough to throw 2 picks. That is my only tipping point in this parlay.
I agree. That's exactly what I thought. Like, I literally was like, the only way it fails is the interceptions with PJ Walker.
Yeah. I think if he has a he's going to throw one in the first quarter. Let's guarantee that. I'm not sure if he has a shitty first quarter, he even gets into the second quarter. So there's the breaking point. Yeah.
Yeah. I agree. All right. Time for loves and hates. Your first love, Kenyon Drake versus Cleveland.
Yeah, so Kenyon Drake, right? Kind of an anomaly on the year. I think he has an expiration date as well. You know, we talked about it earlier. Gus Edwards is coming back. J.K. Dobbins is out for 4 to 6 weeks. At this point, 4 to 6 weeks, you're talking week 12, couple weeks to ramp up. He's not even going to be of value to you in fantasy if you are not in the playoffs. That's kind of where we're at with J.K. Dobbins. So plan accordingly. If I was on a rebuilding team in Dynasty right now, I'd wait about 5 weeks and then sell. That's about where you're at. And everybody else right now, I'd go buy if you really, really, really are contending. It's just that fucking wave, right? But yeah, Kenyon Drake, he's got 1 good week left in him before Gus Edwards comes back and takes over because Gus Edwards is just better than Kenyon Drake. Kenyon Drake's had some majorly productive weeks. Probably some of the best of his career. I don't have the stats on it to prove that, but I would have to assume, right?
Yeah.
I think that continues this week. I think he continues to be very productive, and it is the ultimate sell high moment for Kenyon Drake after this week.
Yeah, you got to do it now. If you
You're
don't,
never going to
you
get
won't do it.
Yep.
My first love, Derek Carr versus Houston. He's going to tear Houston up. He's a top 12 quarterback right now. Carr's been attacking deep. He's looking for a get-right game. I love Derek Carr this week. I'm looking at maybe a top 7 quarterback option. Love playing him this week.
Yeah, absolutely. Our secondary's gotten better, but we're still not there yet. I mean, you could very easily – that fucking Tampa 2, dude, like, you can exploit it very easily.
Yes.
And that's the problem. Here's the deal. I would be even higher on Carr if he had Hunter Renfrow this week. Because it would just be that quick pass fucking slot game shit, and it would just eat our fucking lunch because that's how the Tampa 2's designed.
Yep.
It's all designed to not give up the big play, but you give up a shitload of little plays. And I actually fucking hate it.
Yeah.
Realistically, I fucking hate it. And at the end of the day, like Derek Stingley, I love Derek Stingley. I love him as a player. I think we made a great pick there. He does not fit that defense. He just doesn't. It's not the type of player he is. He's the kind of guy that would lock down somebody up close, but they do that weird fucking scheme shit. And, I mean, we all know it's just a matter of time before Lovey's not there, right? Might be a year, might be 2 years, whatever. He's just a fall guy. Realistically, so it doesn't matter at the end of the day. But yes, Derek Carr is going to cook our shit. Devontae, great game incoming from Devontae Adams. I think he's really the only person left because I know Matt Collins is out too.
Yeah.
Tough week for receiving options, but I don't think it fucking matters. I really don't.
No, I think Derek Carr and Devontae Adams are going to torch him. All right, your next love, Gerald Everett versus Seattle.
Yes, Gerald Everett. So Keenan Allen may or may not be in. We won't really know until tomorrow or today as of when you guys are listening to this. Here's the deal. Doesn't matter to me. Seattle fucking sucks against the tight end. I think they are bottom 3 or 4 against the tight end position. And to me, that just really says you got shitty linebackers. That's all it says to me at the end of the day. I think Herbert exploits that. At the end of the day, I will say this. I do not like Joe Lombardi. I think he's really limiting that pass offense. I think they have a lot more of an upside. I mean, I think Justin Herbert's the top 4 quarterback in the league, but he's just that limited. And no one knew that going into the season, but now we fucking know, right? I mean, Austin Eckler's still getting stupid usage because Joe Lombardi's a pussy. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Yeah.
And that's exactly what it is. I wasn't big on Eckler going into this year because there was no reason to be, right? He had weird usage numbers. I mean, very touchdown dependent. And Joe Lombardi comes in and he's like, we're at the 5-yard line. I'm going to run because I'm too scared to throw.
Yeah.
Sometimes it works. A lot of times it doesn't, but that limits the passing offense. Here's the deal. At the end of the day, I'm still in on Everett, especially this week. I think I'm more in on Everett than anybody not named Kelsey or Andrews this week.
I like Everett, even with Allen. I think Allen's going to help the offense a lot. Lombardi's calling
Open it
plays
up.
like Lombardi's calling plays like Herbert is 2019 Drew Brees. It's a lot of checkdowns and short stuff. I don't get it. They need a field stretcher. Even then, they should be able to have more explosive plays. My last love. Michael Pittman versus Tennessee. Tennessee is 29th in pass DVOA. Pittman's seeing elite peripheral numbers, over 90% snap share. He's gotten 13, 9, 6, 8, and 16 targets over the last 5 weeks. Wide receiver 9 in PPR points per game. Worst game of his year was week 4 against Tennessee, where he only saw 6 targets. I'm looking for the Pittman, Ryan, Taylor offensive trio to start building some momentum. I think they're better than what we've seen. I think Matt Ryan's getting himself going in a new offense. I think that Tennessee is going to allow a lot of passing yards. They've given up 300 plus in 4 of their last 5. I like the Colts in this one. I think Pittman goes off. I think we see a bounce back revenge game of sorts from week 4. So yeah, Pittman's a very good play this week.
Absolutely love Pittman. I think you're right, man. I think they've been limited this year. These last 2 games, especially, I think they absolutely need Jonathan Taylor to open it up for them. I think that's where they've struggled. I mean, Deion Jackson, he was cool. Jackson wasn't his name. He was cool, but he was really just a guy who caught passes out of the backfield. They actually need a bulldozer fucking runner to open up this offense, and that is Jonathan Taylor. I think Michael Pittman has crazy upside, and man, here's the thing I hate. And I want the Colts to lose forever because I'm a Texans fan, and I fucking hate every team in that division. They could all suck a dick, right? But for the football side of it, they have got to fucking get out of this recycling quarterbacks thing. I mean, just truthfully.
Yeah.
Matt Ryan is probably the best of the last 4 years of this bullshit they've been doing. Sure. Matt Ryan is a good quarterback. I remember watching Matt Ryan back in 2008 when he got drafted. Good quarterback. He's 38 years old.
Yeah.
Like, you cannot go get a Matt Ryan and fucking expect him to do what he did 14 years ago. You know what I mean? Like, they need to go out, recreate themselves this offseason and try again. But I really like Matt Ryan's usage on his number 1 wide receiver, which is clearly Pittman. I mean, Julio Jones got fucking forced. Julio Jones was Jamar Chase 10 years ago, right? He just gets force-fed fucking targets to where he's productive no matter how much he actually sucks. That's kind of what I'm getting at there, and that's the Michael Pittman thing. Matt Ryan is always going to force it to him like he's Julio Jones, and he has a very high floor. That's what I got to say about that.
Yeah, I love Pittman. I think I'm a little higher on Matt Ryan than you are. I think they might make the playoffs. They could win 1 playoff game.
They could definitely win the division because the division sucks.
I'm kind of sad about the Jaguars.
I wanted them to be better, dude. I really did. I am about as big of a Trevor Lawrence fan as you can get. I believe in the kid, and I know he's still young. He's still got a lot of football left in him, but man, through a year and a half, it's not looking good.
No, I'm hoping we see some breakout happen, and we've seen flashes. And it's hard.
Yeah, he's definitely got it.
I think it's kind of. I think we'll see a jump this offseason into next year, that 3rd year, like Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes didn't need it, but he got to sit. But I think the 3rd year He's going to
You
be.
remember Josh Allen year 2? He was just a guy that could run.
You know who
That's all he
Lawrence
was. Everybody was like, he's inaccurate as fuck. He can just run.
Lawrence
And
reminds
now
me.
he's going to be the MVP.
Lawrence he reminds me of him a lot. I watch a lot of Josh Allen. You were a hater, I remember, but I bought in. And Josh Allen had a lot of the same characteristics. Big arm, inaccurate, able to run. Trevor Lawrence isn't quite the runner, but I think he makes
He
better
was
decisions in
not.
structure. But he is mobile and athletic. So I really do like Trevor Lawrence. I think next year we're going to see him make a huge jump.
I
Where
think
would
we
you
are
be?
too, but I will tell you right now, Josh Allen, year 1 and 2 was not fucking accurate. He was not accurate at all. He could just throw it really far. And I'm just being real. Like, he was one of the most inaccurate fucking quarterbacks in the league at that point. And then something like a fucking light bulb went off year 3, and he just went out and fucking sling
Want to know what it was?
the ball.
Stephon Diggs.
Well, that too, yeah.
All right. Hey, Jerry Jeudy versus the Jets.
Yeah, dude, Jerry Jeudy just hasn't been what we thought he was going to be. Jets actually have a pretty sticky defense as far as a secondary. And then I actually said that before I knew Russell was going to be out. So add in Ripken, whatever, even more reason not to like him. So that's kind of where I was at with that one.
Yeah, I don't like Jerry Jeudy. I was higher on Sutton than Jeudy, and I'm glad I made that pick correctly. So, yeah, I would
That
have
was the
stayed.
correct pick, yes.
Ooh, Joe Mixon in a second round pick. No, Joe Mixon in a third round pick, or Cortland Sutton in a second round pick. All picks in 2023.
It's kind of a wash, dude. Like, I looked at that and I was like, everybody in fantasy land will tell you to go after Joe Mixon. Here's the thing: any trade situation that anybody's ever came to me with, my first question is, what's your record? Right? Because at this point, if you are a losing team, you should not go acquire Joe Mixon.
No.
Right? If you are a winning team, you should not go acquire Cortland Sutton. And that's kind of the thing in that. That trade's kind of a wash to me. Shitty players. Whatever. That's kind of the way I saw it.
Yeah, I agree. At first, I kind of thought it was lopsided. Then I was like, no, that's not that bad.
Not bad.
All right. My hate corresponds with your hate. Cortland Sutton, Latavius Murray, every Broncos skill position guy but Greg Dortch. Greg Dortch is going to have himself a game. I'm a Greg Dortch fan. He's going to be good.
Oh.
Denver has been bad. We talked about it earlier, last in scoring with Russell. Sutton has produced because he's Russ's number one guy, and Russ still does have some level of arm talent, but Rypien's not going to be able to force feed him targets the same way. I think Sauce is going to play him at least probably 50% of the snaps. Rypien's not going to want to test that. So
Correct.
I just don't see a lot of Cortland Sutton. I think Broncos might not score. That wouldn't surprise me. So I'm out on
A 12-point kicker game.
I take Broncos over 1.5 field goals all day long.
Absolutely. And if you're in fantasy and you got the Broncos kicker, start with confidence.
Yeah. All right. Your next hate, Deontay Foreman versus Tampa Bay.
Yes. Here's the deal, especially in Dynasty, because I am a Deontay Foreman owner in Dynasty, and it was really just one of those things where I picked him up off the waiver wire and just never really let go because our Dynasty league is so deep. I understand the excitement. You're like, okay, I got this guy in Dynasty, and all of a sudden he's probably the number one. this ain't the week. This is absolutely not the week. Tampa Bay has a nasty fucking rush defense. Carolina still isn't good. I understand the hype and increased opportunities for this guy. This ain't it, dude. Wait till next week and then reevaluate your situation. Or if you're really like that far on edge about him, just fucking trade him before the game starts and you'll be in a better place. He is not going to be productive against the Tampa Bay defense that is that fucking stacked. And the game script's going to go negative very quickly.
Yeah, I don't think I would ever start any of these Carolina running backs. Now, I did pick up their third string guy.
Yeah, and you're like, you don't know this guy?
Oh, yeah, I was just being funny. I know who that guy was. I just saw there was a report that said he might play, and I always take those little perspective ads. I keep one guy on my roster who I'm willing to cut bait on fast, just in case I get a good lottery ticket. Kenny Galladay was on that waiver wire. I was shocked.
What's he going to do?
Get cut and go to the Packers.
No, he's not.
Have a great fantasy playoffs, and then I can trade him. And then Michael Thomas, same thing. Michael Thomas is going to get healthy right for the fantasy playoffs. He's going to go off, and I can trade him too. All right. Last hate of the night, Jared Goff versus Dallas. Goff has been good this year. However, he struggles against pressure, and he struggles against competent defensive coordinators. Look what Bill Belichick did to him. Dan Quinn is a really good defensive coordinator. He's an okay head coach, great defensive mind. Dallas is going to kick their fucking ass on defense, and they're probably going to get their shit kicked into that. So today. Sorry, I got stuck on which day the listener would be listening to. All right. Dallas has only allowed one team to pass for more than 200 yards. That was the Rams in a loss. They're going to clamp up Detroit. They have forced turnovers in 4 or 6 games. Dallas's anytime touchdown line for defense is plus 600.
Oh,
I took that. Yeah, I took that. Goff has 4 picks this year, too. Swift might be back. I think he's back. However, Dallas is going to tear them up. I looked at their defense. Micah Parsons has like 6 sacks. Their other defensive end has 4, and then 2 players have 3. They're getting hella pressure through 6 weeks. It's not going to be pretty for Goff.
Dan Quinn he isn't a good head coach, but he is a damn good defensive mind.
Yeah.
He has taken that team to a point where they are a very good defense. Yeah, I got Jared Goff. I'm starting him because I'm trying to tank in a dynasty league. That's kind of where I'm at.
That's cheap.
I don't expect good things out of him this week. Amon-Ra should be back, right? I think this week.
Yeah.
Chark got put on IR. Josh Reynolds is really like a very undervalued kind of guy in fantasy this year. He's had great numbers. I think he's a wide receiver 2 on the year, to be honest, if I remember right. This ain't the week for that, but here's the deal. Trayvon Diggs gets some interceptions, but he also gets fucking cooked every other play. So everybody's got to realize that he is not a lockdown corner. He's a guy that's going to get paid a lot of money in his career for getting interceptions, but he is not of the conversation of like a Jair Alexander or a Jalen Ramsey. But Jalen Ramsey's also been getting fucking cooked lately too. So, I always think back to God damn it, what was that Jets corner's name?
Darrelle Revis.
Them dudes ain't of that same cut, right?
Patriots Super Bowl winner, Darrelle Revis. What?
Yeah. Darrelle Revis was a different kind of guy. I mean, none of these dudes in this era have that same kind of capability. That guy would fucking just delete somebody.
Sauce might be like that.
No, Stingley will be like that when he gets the right coordinator. But let's understand where we're at.
Yeah, that would require playing man to man.
Yeah. But yeah, they ain't the same.
Trayvon Diggs has 3 interceptions. Yeah, I could see him getting a touchdown this week. All right. So, Caden, one more episode. Then we're in Vegas. You excited?
I will be on a plane in 5 days. So that's kind of where I'm sitting at. I'm very excited. Um, when we were young, the concert I'm going to was actually canceled day one. Very glad we didn't actually get tickets to day one. We got tickets to day 3, which is the 29th. So as far as I can see, weather is clear. Thursday, we're going to get in. I think the only plan for us Thursday is to go get a marriage license, which is apparently a thing. Here's the deal. My soon-to-be wife, she's much smarter than me. She has way better organization skills than I do. So she's kind of got the whole plan ready. So day one, we get in, uh, go get a marriage license, and then day 2, I think all you fucking degenerates come in, and then we can kind of enjoy it from there. Saturday is our concert. It's a 14-hour early 2000s emo festival, which, dude, that's my shit, man. Like, I am ready. Sunday, I don't really know. She actually has some like very specific like food arrangements where she's like, we're gonna go here this day, this, blah blah blah. Um, Monday, I'm physically getting married, and then Tuesday, we're coming home.
What time do you guys fly out on Monday? Tuesday?
Like 10, I think.
Oh, that's not bad. We leave at like 5.
Yeah. So actually, she had it set to where we got back into Kansas at 10 p.m. or 11 p.m. And I'm like, I just said, I was like, Carly, goddamn, I gotta work Wednesday. I was like, that fucking sucks. And she's like, oh, I can change it. And I'm like, please do, because I'm not trying to get into Wichita at midnight. We live 30 minutes outside of Wichita. So I'm like, get back to my truck, fucking drive home. I'll be home at 2 in the morning and I gotta be at work at 8. Like, that would fucking be horrible. So she changed it to where we get back into Wichita at 2 on Tuesday. So a little more manageable.
All right, guys, one more episode and then we'll be there. Have a good Sunday. Good luck this